What's up, Impact? How you guys doing? Come on, you guys can do better than that. All right. If I can have everybody scoot on in about 5 steps. Come on, don't be shy, come on. Okay, so I got a quick question for everybody. Who was all at Celebrations Sunday? Okay, did you all enjoy it? Because, I know I smacked basically. Oh yeah, there it is. I smacked literally everybody in go-karts, so kind of easy. Yes, there we go. I went around everybody twice, so yeah. But I hope you guys are ready. Jake and the band are gonna sing a couple songs for you guys, and I hope you enjoy it.
What's up, Impact? You can go ahead and sing this first song. This is Living With Us.
You Something's broken, I need your help. I can't fix this on my own. My heart is prone to wander far, but you call me back to your arms, and I fall at your feet again. Here's my heart again, Lord, I am yours, and I run with my chains undone, all because the love that you have shown. Come on, let's sing. When I hear mercy calling, it's at your feet. Oh Jesus, I surrender all.
It's good to see your faces. If we haven't met before, I'm Brian, and I have a question for you. Have you ever had something epic happen to you? Something that took your breath away, something that you look back on and you go, wow, that was an amazing moment. That was an amazing week. Have you had that happen? Yes, 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 yes. You in the back row. Have you had that happen? Yes, yes. You sitting on the wall. Have you had that happen? I see you. All right, all right. Well, I recently have had some epic things happen to me in my life, and I don't always get to talk about them because they don't happen that often. And some of you are like, yeah, I feel you, bro. They don't happen that often, but I had some things happen to me this past couple weeks, and I'm just like, I can't explain it. It's just, it's amazing stuff. And my mom called me about 3 weeks ago, and she said, Brian, I want to buy a new car. And I said, that sounds awesome, because buying a new car is cool, and it's not something I've ever done in my entire life, and that just is sad for me, but it's really awesome for my mom. And she was like, yeah, this is my budget, this is what I want to get, and I want you to help me find the car. And I'm like, Mom, I'll help you find the car. My mom and I, we're tight. So I was like, I'll help you find the car. And then she says, and I want to give you my truck. I was like, what? Because I have always wanted a truck. And one of my sons asked me recently, Dad, if you could buy any vehicle, what would you buy? And I said, I want to buy a truck, but I don't have money to buy a truck. But I would buy a truck if I could buy a truck. And then my mom says, I want to give you my truck. And what takes it up another notch as far as sentimentality is that was my dad's truck. And my dad passed away about 3 years ago. And he said, told my mom, he said, whenever you get rid of the truck, I want you to give it to Brian. And she said, now I'm giving it to you. So what happened is, I mean, it's so cool, last week, it's like, wow, it feels like 3 weeks have passed. But last week, I went to Georgia to visit my mom, and I drove this home, and I was like, I've got this big truck, and the first thing I did when I backed it out of her garage is I hit the side of her garage. This is like, too much truck for you, sucker. Yeah, but she didn't cuss me out or anything, so we're still good. But that was kind of embarrassing. But it was still an epic week because while we were there, we went to visit my grandmother, and she's 90 years old. And, I mean, she talks like this. I mean, it's part of being 90 years old, right? But my grandmother is part of the reason why my family is a family of faith. She's a person who put her faith in Christ when she was an adult, and then she helped shape the course of my family and where we are today. And so I owe a lot to her. And we went back to visit her and to see her. And while we were there, she said, Brian, I want to give you something. And I'm like, well, what do you want to give me? She goes, I want to give you a check for $1,000. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? It's like, I got a new truck. It's not a brand new truck. It's 10 years old, actually, but it's still a Toyota Tundra, and it's still a V8 with a 5-point-something liter engine, which is really big, and it can, like, run people over. And I actually have these like, fascinations of I would love just to run somebody over because that would just be awesome, but then they would die, and that would be really sad, so I don't want to do that. But I got a truck, and I got a check in 1 week, and I didn't expect it, and I didn't deserve it, and I'm like, this is an epic week. And I was blown away. Like, well, I don't deserve this. And some of you understand what I'm talking about when you have an epic week. I mean, some of you had an epic day. You went to Celebration Station last week, and it was like, you were like, this is epic because you won bumper boats, or you beat that girl in go-karts. It's just like, you just like her. And you're just like, I beat you. You know, and it's like this whole epic thing you understand. Like some of you, man, your grades, like for the first time ever, you got straight C's this year, and you're just like, yes, straight C's, yes, I'm moving up in this world. But you understand epic, and you understand what it's like to make the team, or to have someone notice you that maybe hasn't noticed you before, and it's that guy or that girl that gives you attention. It's like, they're a dime, and you're just like, whoa, they're paying attention to me, and they're a perfect 10. It's like, wow, you understand what it's like to have those epic moments. You understand what I'm talking about because we've all been there. But here's the problem with epic moments. They don't happen that often. Am I right? Wouldn't it be nice if epic moments could happen more often? I mean, when I talk about it right now, I just feel a little bit sad. Because, don't laugh at me. I feel sad because I find myself sometimes, and maybe you can relate to this, wishing for something epic to happen in my life. And I find myself feeling sad, or maybe even a little bit bored, or maybe a little bit frustrated because I find myself wishing that something more was happening and that next epic moment would come. And I find myself just wishing and wishing and wishing. Or I find myself in another posture of waiting. I just find myself waiting. I'm wishing and I'm waiting for something big to happen. I'm thinking it's going to happen. It's happened before, but I don't know when it's going to happen. And so I find myself just in that other moment, not even present in the moment I'm in. And I'm just thinking that maybe there's a better way to live. And I struggle with that, and I know you probably do too. I'm just a guess. And it's a tension that we live with, and it's something that can hold us down from really having life as we were intended to have life. We all understand wishing and waiting. And it's cool because when we look at Jesus, he had some very incredible things, life-changing things to say in regards to the epic, to the miraculous, to the movie-making type moments, and then those that maybe weren't as great, maybe even frustrating or bad. And if you read the book of John is a story all about Jesus' life, and it's written by a guy named John. And so John writes a book called John about Jesus, and it's packed full of incredible stories about his life and what he did and what he was all about. And if you ever read John chapter 6, you read this story, and where did I have my stuff? Oh, you may know what I'm referring to here when I bring this up here, but Jesus one time decided that he needed to feed a bunch of people because they were hungry. You understand what it's like to be hungry. You may be hungry right now, and maybe you just ate an hour ago, but when you're 16, you're hungry like every hour. Am I right? And some of you pay groceries for people who are 16, and you understand what it's like to have someone hungry, or maybe they're somewhere in the range of middle and high school, and you understand what it's like. You're hungry all the time. And so there is a group of people who have been following Jesus around, and they're hungry. And there are 5,000 men in the group, 5,000 hungry men, not to mention the women and the kids. There's some hungry people, and Jesus is like, oh, we need to feed these people. And so the disciples are like, we got to do something, right? And so we don't know what to do. And they find this little boy, and they put this boy in a headlock, and they jack him up. No, they don't do that. But they find this boy, and they get bread, and they get fish from him, and they get 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. And I just thought it would be cool to bring out the sunbeam tonight. And maybe it really didn't look like this. But, I mean, you can kind of experience this right now in real time. But we have this. And then right here. We have fish. Somebody said, that's what I was smelling. That steak up in here. Woo. I thought that was you. All right, so, and you know the, y'all gonna crack me up. You know the fish had to be raw. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't all that well cooked at that time. And so they got this bread and they got this fish, and Jesus takes it and he makes it to feed 5,000 men plus women and children. Can you smell it yet? You're going to lose it, aren't you? She's like, you don't want that nickname. You'll get a nickname like Upchuck or something. You don't want that. And like, is she possessed? Anyway, all right. So he feeds 5,000 men, women, and children out of 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. And these people eat, and they're satisfied, and there's food left over. I mean, for a lot of you, when there's a meal presented to you, there's probably not a lot of food left over, but there's food left over, and these thousands of people were satisfied. And when they see Jesus do this, they go, hey, Jesus, we want to make you king. And they went on to say, hey, this is miraculous. We saw him do something miraculous, and this is surely the prophet we've been expecting. And some of you are like, well, why would that be a big deal? Why would they be saying, surely this is the prophet we've been expecting? And this would be a big deal because these people had been oppressed. They've been held down. Some of you understand what it's like to be oppressed. Some of you understand what it's like to be held down. Some of you understand what it's like when people treat you as lesser than, when they treat you as a person of lower status. And what had happened in this culture is these people, the Jewish people who were following Jesus around because Jesus was doing miracles and Jesus was doing crazy things like feeding 5,000 men plus women and children with 5 pieces of bread and 2 fish. They were following him around going, we want to make you king. And they were going to force him to be king. And Jesus is like, that's not why I'm here. And he slips away. Now, I think it's pretty amazing that he somehow slips away from thousands of people in this moment, but he slips away, and then him and the disciples kind of go their separate ways, and the disciples get on the boat, and they're going across the sea, and then there's a storm that comes, and it gets crazy, and Jesus comes, and he's walking on water, which is freaky, and I can't imagine what that would be like, and he calms the storm, and they get to the other side of where they're going, and they're at a place called Capernaum, and people come over, like, following Jesus because they want more miracles. It's like, more miracle, Jesus, more miracle. I want more epic. I want more incredible moments because we had an incredible moment 2 days ago and I couldn't find you. Now we found you, Jesus. And all these people are chasing after him. And Jesus is like, wait. You guys don't get it. See, it's more than miracles. And in verse 26, skipping ahead, he says, hey, I tell you the truth. You wanted to be with me because I fed you. I met your temporary need. I took care of something, and it was an epic moment for you because you were hungry, and I fed you, and I fed all these people in a miraculous way. But not because you understood why I did it to begin with. You didn't understand the miraculous sign. And in verse 27, he continues. He goes, but don't be so concerned about perishable things like food. So he says, don't be wrapped up with things that are temporary, with things that don't last. But he says, spend your energy. I like this phrase, spend your energy. We could stop right there for a second. Think about it, and you don't have to say this out loud, but think about how do you spend your energy? Like your thoughts, because your thoughts are part of your energy. Your actions are part of your energy. How do you spend your thoughts and your actions? What are they consumed with? And I think if you were to answer that question in this moment, you would probably say they're consumed with something that's epic or that you hope that happens that's epic. And there's a problem with living this way because it almost lends itself toward you being in a depressed state. Almost like a manic depressed state of where you're really high and you're really low. And really high, and then that epic moment ends, that win, you win the game, and then it's over, and then you're waiting for the next game, and it's a while before you win again, and maybe you went from a winning team to a loser team, and then you're back down here. Or you have the guy, he's amazing, he makes you feel like $1 million, but then you break up, and then you're down here. And it's like Jesus is saying, spend your energy, because you have energy and you have one life to live, and you only have the energy you have right now to spend right now, and you don't know how much of it you're going to have. So he says, spend your energy seeking the eternal life that the Son of Man can give you. See, God wants to give you more than you actually have today. He wants to do like he did with the miracle, and he wants to feed you, and there to be leftover, and there to be abundance. But a lot of times we miss it because we're focused on the thing that's not eternal, but the thing that's temporary. And so he goes on to say, for God the Father has given me the seal of his approval. See, I came from God not just to do miracles and meet your physical need. I came to do so much more. And then he continues in verse 28. Or they reply to him. I want to make fun of them. You ever see somebody you just kind of want to make fun of? You know it's not right, But she's like, I just want to make fun of you because you're ridiculous. He just gets done pouring his heart out. I can envision this. We want to perform God's works too. What should we do? We want more miracle. We want more epic. We want to do it. We want to do what you're doing, Jesus. We want to create those mountaintop experiences, Jesus. We want to manufacture it. And Jesus is probably over there like, of course he had hair, but he's like, And in verse 29, he responds this way. This is the only work God wants from you. Believe. This is the most important part here. Believe in the one he has sent. Like, this is pretty cool because you were starving. All right? But the point of this wasn't just for the moment of making you feel satisfied. The point of this was to point you to something bigger. Me, Jesus. He's saying, believe in me, trust in me. Move from what is temporary to what is eternal. And then he goes on to say in verse 35, I am the bread of life. No. We've obviously been talking about bread. He is not talking about Sunbeam. All right? He's not saying, I am Sunbeam. I am a hoagie. He's not saying those things. He's saying, I am so much more than the temporary. I am so much more than the epic. I am so much more than that guy or girl you're pouring all of your energy out on. Is it having a guy or girl bad? No. Sometimes you go to church and you're like, is it bad to have a boyfriend or girlfriend? And they're making me feel bad about this. No, it's not. Now, if you're out doing crazy things and not keeping your pants up, yeah, that's bad. Right? Why? Because God created sex for married people, not just in love people. That's a free announcement for you right there. But, hey, amen. Hey, I like that. But yeah, because what we know is sometimes, she smells good. He looks good. He says all the right things, and you're just like, And so we know that you need to talk about this because there is more to your present that connects to your future. We want you to have the best future possible, to tell the best story possible, and to be able to look at your future husband and be able to look at your future wife and be like, you know what? You are worth waiting for. I mean, it's just an important message, right? But that's not even what I'm here to talk about tonight. So satisfaction, though, is something we go to find oftentimes in people. We want people to validate us. We want people to make us whole. We want people to make us feel like we're worth something. And I know it because I've seen it and I've lived it. And sometimes we're looking for someone to make us feel epic, but they can't complete us. We want them to. We want them to satisfy us, but we find ourselves wanting more. There's no amount of winning that will satisfy you and take you where you want to go. There's always another opportunity. There's always another game that you're going to be expected to win. You win the championship, everybody wants to take you down. Like, how many people would just love to see the New England Patriots lose next year? Amen. That's fine. They are the best team. They're the best team, but I can't wait to see them lose. Hopefully, pray about it. But there's always another game to win, and the championships are temporary. Getting good grades is a great thing, right? I mean, for you, if you're a D student and you get straight C's, yes, you're moving up in this world, right? That's the best you can do, yes. Getting straight A's, great. But there's always another class to take, and there's always another test you're going to have to face. And ultimately, that's not going to bring you the satisfaction you desire. So Jesus says, I am the bread of life. And what he's meaning is, I'm the one who can satisfy your soul. I'm the one who can meet your needs, the real you, not the physical you, the you at the heart level. And then he goes on to say, whoever. I love this word. Whoever. It's inclusive. Anybody. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry again. We know he's not speaking physically because some of you ate an hour ago and you're like, my stomach is rumbling, and that's where you are. But whoever comes to me will never be hungry again. He's talking about spiritually. You will be satisfied. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty because Jesus wants to satisfy you on a soul level. And here's the if and the then that we want to share with you tonight. If Jesus is the bread of life, then you can be satisfied. And some of you really, you're tired of living that roller coaster life of just waiting for the next epic, or that yo-yo life, the up and the down, the up and the down. And you really would like to find some stability. There are a couple things you can do tonight. I did this morning, and I found this to be an extremely incredible exercise. I took time just to write out the epic moments I'm thankful for. And when you start to do that, and you really dedicate the time to do that, it's amazing what you discover that you're thankful for. There's a whole lot out there. And I sit there and I go, I am a blessed man. I have an amazing life. And sometimes I really can struggle with that and feel sorry for myself when things aren't going the way I want them to. And maybe you can relate to me on that. And I find myself and I'm doing this up and down. And my family's like, is he going to make it? But I wrote this stuff out and I'm like, I am a blessed man. I love my life, the life that's given to me, and I want to spend my energy making the most of it, understanding that Jesus has really satisfied and met my needs. Spend time thanking him for those epic moments. But here's the other application I want to throw out to you. The challenge is to trust him in the other moments. Those other moments can be boring. Those other moments can be extremely sad. Like the text I got this morning after I wrote out my thing, what I was thankful for. My aunt passed away last night. My dad's sister. And my grandmother's 90 and it's her daughter, and she's now lost 2 adult children. And my mom calls me, and my mom's helping out a lot with what's happening in the funeral arrangements, and she's like, I need your advice on this and this and this, and I'm praying for my mom, and it's just sad, like, because my aunt, and this is hard for me to say, she didn't know Jesus. She's not, from what I've seen, and something could have happened that I didn't experience, but she's not with God right now because she died not having a relationship with Jesus. Because Jesus is the one and the only one who can satisfy. And I've been processing this all day, and it's bothered me and it's eaten at me. And I bring it up tonight because there's something about death that makes us think about the now, that makes us want to live with intentionality now, that makes us want to take our energy and our thoughts and our actions and not waste them now. And so impact. I don't know what it is for you tonight, whether it's, I need to take time to be thankful for the moments I have instead of wasting my energy, feeling sorry for myself and waiting for that next epic moment, but to live in the now and not to wish and to wait my life away, but to say, I'm going to live now. And I'm going to trust Jesus in the moments where nothing epic seems to be happening and say, help me get through these, and not just get through them, but live through them. And some of you, you're sitting in here tonight, and maybe you've been coming to Impact for a while, or you're newer to Impact. Here is the coolest thing about Jesus. All it takes to have a relationship and a friendship with him is just to believe, to receive him as your God, to say, Jesus, I now understand why you came to die for my sin and just receive his payment for it. That's why he died on a cross. That's why he took your punishment that you deserved on a cross. All you have to do is receive that, and he saves you. And he reserves a place for you eternally in heaven, but gives you life and real energy right now to live now. And not focused on the temporary, but to focus on the eternal. That's purpose, my friends. And some of you tonight, that's a step that I challenge you to take. Some of you, I've seen you take that step. It's an amazing thing that he begins to transfer you from the inside out and gives you purpose and meaning that maybe you don't have. If Jesus is the bread of life, then you can be satisfied. And I'll leave you with that thought tonight as we stand. I'm going to pray for you. God, we thank you. We thank you for the chance to talk about what really matters. And I pray that for the students, the adults that are here tonight, that they would see, God, that all they need is you. That life began with you, life continues with you, and one day we can have life with you forever if we trust and believe in your Son, Jesus. So I pray as we sing this last song tonight, that we would sing with intentionality, that people who don't know you would take a step toward receiving you, realizing that when it comes down to it, all we need is you. So we thank you for that truth that we're about to sing. In Jesus' name, amen.
And all I need is you. And all I need is you, Lord. Is you, Lord. All I need is you. And all I need is you, Lord. Is you, Lord. And all I need is you. Come on, church, let's sing.
Guys, it's the beauty of that song. You know, it's so simple, right? I know it's hard. I know you guys got stuff going on, right? I get it. School started back today for some of y'all. I get it. But all we really need, man, is Jesus. That's it. Yeah, but you don't understand what's going on with my parents and their marriage. You don't understand what's going on with my friend, somebody who's sick, what they're going through, right? My relationship. Guys, I know it's hard, and I know it stinks. But all we really need, man, is the bread of life, right? Just like Brian said, if Jesus is the bread of life, then we can finally be satisfied, right? Because we love you guys. We're so glad you're here. Listen, if you want to take that step, or if you want to talk, or if you want to pray, or if there's something that's on your heart, we're here for you. I'm here. Brian's here. He'd love to talk to you. Your small group leaders here, they'd love to talk to you. That's why they're here, guys. We love you. We want to help you get there. Because I tell you what, man, that bread is some good bread. Like that sunbeam up here, right? Hey, Celebration Station peeps. We got a couple of the pictures just to flash for y'all real quick as we go through it. Hey, I tell you what, the leaders were relentless out there. I'll be honest. I think the leaders kind of tore up some of y'all students. I'm just saying. A lot of the high schoolers, too. You guys were losing to your leaders, which is never fun for anything. But Celebration Station was a blast. Thank y'all all for coming. Thanks for being there. Thanks for bringing friends. Guys, it's what it's about. We love to have fun and do bumper boats, right? There you go. If you did not make it to Celebration Station, guys, we're planning another big event. We'll do something big in the next few months, so be sure you are looking forward to that. Yeah. We got any more to flip through? Those are great. Oh, isn't that sweet? Okay, how about one more? Oh, there you go. That's like pit row right there. I love it. Okay. That's great. Hey, guys, one other announcement for y'all. Next week, we are not meeting here for Impact. Okay? Say it again. We are not meeting where? Okay. Let me ask you guys a question. Where are y'all meeting next week? Danielle said she doesn't know. That's not good. Okay. Hey, well, listen, next week we are doing a small group experience, which means Impact is not actually going to be canceled. It just means you guys have one more chance before school officially starts for Forsyth and Davidson and Guilford County schools, all the public schools. I know a lot of private schools started, but we want to give y'all one more chance to celebrate summer. Guys, meeting with your small group leaders. Be sure you talk to them tonight about where you guys are going and what you're doing. There is a serve element as well. Right? So talk to your leader about that. We want you guys to go back to school this year. Hey, stay with me real quick. We want you guys to go back to school this year with a focus of really sharing the love of Jesus and living that out. We're trying to get y'all to have relationships and conversations with people that serve you every single day at school. And we never notice it. We're talking about cafeteria workers, bus drivers, school resource officers, right? Janitors. We want you guys to find a way to be able to introduce yourself and just, say, hey, thank you for what you do, right? Your leader will have more information with you on that. And if it's your first time here to Impact, please come up front. Everybody else, no large group next week. We will be back on August the 30th, starting at 6 o'clock on the patio. We're going to have a lot of fun for y'all. We love you guys. Have a wonderful week.